Hello, everybody. Back at AnyWho for episode 2. And we're going to look today at the 60th anniversary. We've all been really excited about this, and we've been trying not to talk about it before we go on air. But now we can. Yay! So I think, first of all, what did we think about the strange introduction?
Yeah.
I think my word was cheese when I saw it.
Yeah, that was... I immediately remember getting within seconds of it starting, getting a message saying, this is cheese.
Yes.
Yeah, pure gorgonzola.
I liked the Donna side of it because she's sitting at a laptop. It's almost like she's doing a diary or something like that.
Yeah.
David Tennant standing in space.
Looking weird.
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
I think sweeping shots of wherever, the universe, going straight into the, the classic thing from the view from space into Earth, onto there, maybe a little bit slower, with a voiceover.
With a narration, that might have been better.
Probably been more tolerable. But then again, you know what? I can see a lot of the episode was a marketing new faces, new viewers
to Disney and everything.
Exactly.
But Blake found already that somebody had done a little cartoon thing of that first screenshot as being like choose your character.
Oh, okay.
In a video game,
yeah. So because it did look a bit like that, didn't it?
Yeah.
You could press the button and change him to Donna and a meep.
Maybe that's where they're missing a trick there. A Doctor Who sort of meets Street Fighter sort of game. That would be great.
I'll be down for that.
Donna versus Zygon. Fight.
Yeah, she'd beat the crap out of anyone.
Yeah. We have gob power on her. Would be like.
Now, there's one thing that we've been talking about beforehand is last time you said you didn't like Tennant's confidence, and he walked out of his TARDIS like he was the cock of the North.
Swagger.
Indeed, he did. For a guy who was, or as in the character should say, who was so unsure about what's going on and stuff, our first image of him beyond the introduction thing was of a very happy chappy indeed, who seemed to be enjoying the Christmas spirit or whatever it was.
Yeah.
He's here. I said, all right. Okay, prior to filming this, by the way, I did say this, and I'm going to say this on record. I do not hate David Tennant. I do not hate David Tennant as Doctor Who. I think he's a great Doctor Who. He's really great. But there are just a couple of little foibles that I find a little bit irksome at times.
Yeah.
And,
Apparently his wife was worried that he would have forgotten how to do the voice.
Okay.
Which is a bit weird.
Watch Oliver.
Yeah.
To kind of get back into it, but there we go.
Yeah. But I was more worried that Donna would forget how to do his voice because she has to when she becomes...
Oh, yes. Later on.
Later on in the Doctor.
Yeah, spoilers, by the way, folks.
Yeah,
there will be major... This is
very
a spoil-heavy...
spoiler.
In fact, just might as well call this episode the spoiler episode,
Yeah.
But so, there you go. You've had your warnings in 3, 2, 1. There we go.
I expected as soon as she saw the Doctor that her head would explode, and I was quite disappointed.
Well, they made the emphasis on that, didn't they? Like, it wasn't just seeing him; it was remembering.
Him.
I thought that was,
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, this is Luke Morgan, who's our guest today. I forgot to introduce him because I'm so rude.
I don't know.
I know.
I'm used to it with these two. It's
Kids these days, I don't know.
So the first scene was her head not exploding into 1,000 pieces.
and looking the other way.
And looking the
The other way. But I mean, a little bit of background on this one. I mean, it's no secret that the episode is actually an adaptation of a much loved comic book story.
Yeah.
And weird thing is, I had the comic. As a 9-10-year-old.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was in the third episode or issue of Doctor Who Weekly, which in turn will become Doctor Who Monthly, which in turn now is Doctor Who Magazine. But the point being is that when the comic started, the caliber of the writers and artists were just top of the range at the time, and Marvel really lucked out when they initially produced the stuff. So you got Pat Mills and Dave Gibbons. He's from my hometown, by the way, folks. St. Albans, represent. Really, I mean, and it is a fantastic story about never judging a book by its cover.
It is, yeah.
And so I knew exactly, as did lots of other people, knew where this story was going. But it was really interesting to hear from people who had no idea. And so, oh my God, I didn't see that coming, and this, that, and the other, which is a lovely little twist, which is nice. Which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, I was told that in the comic it happens quite near the beginning.
Yeah.
That you start to see that it's got this other character.
But we're the only ones, as in the reader is the only one dealing with it.
Yes.
But the
characters don't find out.
They didn't like that when Russell T Davies put the thing very early on, and they made the Meep become evil a lot later than the comic one. So, and I thought that worked better. That would work better.
It did.
Sell more toys.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Yeah.
I do find, though, that once the evil side came in, they kind of slightly sidelined Meepy.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were in it a lot less than they were. And to be honest with you, I think an evil Meep is less interesting because it's a little bit one note.
Oh, I don't know. I really liked it, and I think Miriam Margolyes fantastic job voicing the Meep. Both the sort of gentle Meep and the evil Meep. She could just do anything. She was just fantastic. And when I saw her on the Unleashed thing, which was Doctor Who Confidential, but now is Doctor Who Unleashed. She just she was just the Meep, even without the the little thing, you saw her and you thought, oh yeah, God, that's so obvious that she's the Meep.
Yeah. But I mean, but like from the off, number one, I would say very much like the previous era, the Jodie Whittaker era, I got a real sense of they've thrown a lot more money at this than usual. I mean, it's never looked, to be fair, it's never looked cheap. Since 2005, it's never looked cheap, but it's never looked as expensive as it does now.
Really
in the last, say, 3 or 4 years. It really is a gloss on it. That's, whether that's Disney money or not.
They've also got Bad Wolf Studios as well now.
Indeed.
And the whole Whoniverse thing.
Yeah, not so keen on that.
Yeah, and I know a lot of Doctor Who fans that don't like the Whovian and Whoniverse.
It's just Marvel. It's Marvel. Yeah. It really is. They should. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're chucking a little couple of I don't know, oh look, there's Spider-Man. Right in the middle of it all. But it kind of like no. But this whole notion of everything expanding, every franchise has to have a spin-off. Every franchise has to have 15 different backstories and this, that, and the other. And you're like,
yeah, we just want Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind the children's sort of spin-off, the Sarah Jane Adventures, which might be back as without Sarah Jane, obviously.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that.
But they've done stuff with Big Finish, haven't they? With those characters.
I want an Ace show.
You want an Ace show?
Ace show would be good.
Show. I would watch that gloriously.
Yeah.
In a darkened room, but we won't really go into that.
Just behave,
Sophie. But getting back to the story itself. I mean, the tone of it, the whole thing was fun. Fun. Yes. Fun. A fun story all the way, and just to entertain. And I did sit there grinning like a bit of a fool as usual.
And it's a family show, and sometimes as Doctor Who geeks as we are, we forget that it is a family show, and it's not just made for us; it's made for everybody to sit down, after your tea, and watch the show and enjoy it, And it did it in spades. I think it was really good, and I think my favourite thing was the complete chaos in the kitchen when the Meep comes in on Donna's leg and David Tennant's knocking on the door. The whole chaos of that was just brilliant, and it's really hard to get that right.
Yes.
The more hectic a scene is, the more difficult it is to coordinate it and get it right, and it works so well. And I was just so, I was smiling from ear to ear. And at one point, my son came over and watched it again with me, the second watching. And he just said, God, the dialogue's so fantastic.
It really is.
and that really, it was making me smile because it was so like that. It was just, they didn't miss a beat, did they?
My only, and I mean, it's not even a worry really, because I know it's not going to happen. But at the same time, there's this tiny little voice in my head saying, please don't let this tone continue through episode and episode and episode.
I don't think it will. It was just because it was, it was the kicking off the block thing.
Yeah,
and bringing back the nobles.
Obviously we don't know anything in terms of storyline of the next two specials. But I hope they are wildly different from each other.
Yeah.
I really, really do.
But the lovely thing was, I'm glad they didn't kill Wilf off.
No,
it was nice that he was in a nursing home somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, it's no secret that Bernard Cribbins had shot some.
Yes.
Whether we're going to see him or not,
that'd be nice.
We don't know. But yeah, he did shoot some scenes. But once again, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
We may not be for this episode. It might be for something else. You never know.
I'm such a Cribbins fan, so it would be fab for me to see him. That would just make my day. So after we have the new sonic screwdriver that does all the fancy bits and bobs.
Yeah.
Did you not like that?
No, do not like. I have been quite vocal since the show came back with my thoughts on the sonic screwdriver, which is not a sonic screwdriver; it's a magic wand.
It can be certainly.
And I'm like, no. It's so convenient. It's unbelievable. I find that at times a little bit lazy.
A lot of people say that, but I as long as they don't overuse it, I think it's
and the whole sort of
fine.
Tony Stark, Iron Man, checking the things, pressing things.
I didn't mind it
the
first time when he made a screen, because that was like, he doesn't have a screen. Okay, I'll make one. I quite like that. I didn't really like the shields.
No,
I like the shields.
I didn't like
it's gonna make future things. It's like, they're shooting at us, I'll just make a shield.
Exactly. Or if not, then why didn't you use that
in the past?
Why didn't you use that before? Things like that.
No, I think it's definitely an upgrade, because he actually made a point of saying, I'm resonating concrete, whereas previously Eccleston couldn't resonate concrete. So
that's true.
Oh yes.
Okay.
So I think it's a step. I think the sonic screwdriver is definitely a massive step.
Isn't it
up.
mortar though? That's what they say.
That's what he says. Mortar. Yeah. It's not concrete. It's mortar. But maybe it does resonate concrete now, and that's why he was sort of boasting a bit boastful.
Which actually, by the way, throws it a little tenuous link. I think my favourite character, who we've only ever seen in one episode, and we didn't really know too much about him, is Donna's now husband.
Yeah, he was quite good, wasn't
he? And what I do like about him is he's not particularly phased.
No.
And I like that sort of laid-back approach. And something smells good. He's just seen that there's an alien in the kitchen. There's all this chaos going on, and that's his first reaction to walking in the middle of it, of going, okay. It's that sort of thing, and I like that. I thought it was quite refreshing.
Yeah,
yes.
It's nice to have somebody who's not as on as the others.
Yeah.
Which was quite nice, but I don't know. I maybe he should have been a bit more phased. But,
I think that kind of part of it was taken up by Donna's mum, who was kind of just
she was terrified.
all over the place and frantic, and I think you needed that counterpoint to that.
I mean, obviously she knows there's an agenda there, in a sense. So more on that in a minute. Yeah. But an agenda in terms of the Doctor's interaction with Donna herself.
Yeah. Now, there's one thing I'm sort of wondering what's going to happen with. They introduced this young lad with glasses on.
Fudge.
And he was up in his bedroom window, looking out of his bedroom window throughout the whole episode, and yet didn't do anything. So I'm wondering whether in one of the next episodes his presence is
maybe.
important.
I want to know where his parents are.
Yeah.
Exactly,
in the middle of all that.
He's obviously an adaptation from the comic, because there's a Fudge character in the comic. And so I just assumed it was a cameo for that character, and that was it.
No, I don't know. I think he might come back as a prominent, but we'll see. It's all the foreboding and all that kind of thing. You have to everybody goes, I wonder if this is going to happen. I wonder if that's
in the same way with the nitpicking, etc.
I quite like a bit of, let's see if this happens.
Foreshadowing's good. I like subtle foreshadowing though, not like he will knock 4 times. What does that mean? I don't know. Moving on. It's, I want something to be.
The boss was a
of course, the boss. Who is the boss? So
yeah,
I hope it's someone rubbish. There's never been,
are they going to adapt?
I suspect it
Star
might
Beast
be
2?
A Master, maybe.
Could be Master.
I think that'd be too easy.
You think so?
Too obvious. If it's going to be someone, you'd make it someone. But then again, we are heading towards a certain character from 1965.
Yes.
Back, who nearly came back in 1986.
And maybe he's a boss.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But possibly that person. I don't know. I mean, is it Omega? Is it the Warlord? All these
characters that people have been theorizing for years.
Exactly. Is it the Rani, which seems to be the? I remember there was a little bit.
Everybody thinks the Rani's coming back.
Yeah, that seems to be the number
every time.
Number one, like what's the word? Wish list, top of the wish list.
Yeah, I guess so. I wonder if that will happen coming up.
Maybe. They could make the Rani a man.
They could.
Could do.
Let's see how
that's interesting.
That would be interesting. But well. That's actually quite a convenient sort of little push into a major character.
Rose.
Rose.
Yeah.
Donna's.
And when
daughter.
when she mentions Rose, immediately David Tennant's thinking, Rose who?
Yeah, indeed.
So,
and lo and behold, and then those subtle little nods behind, Rose herself.
Yeah.
Little scenes of her walking down the street and comments and things like that.
Yeah.
It's just immediately, unfortunately, will set a lot of red flags off. Just a whole bunch of so-called fans out there. I thought that was brilliantly dealt with.
You see, the weird thing is, the stuff I've seen hasn't been the fact that Rose is transgender. Mm-hmm. It's been the pronouns. Oh God, we've got pronouns. Oh. Like it's a terrible thing. But if you think about it, in the context of the story, he's calling a creature a he when there's no discernible factors that say what the sex is.
Yeah, and I think some people might just don't like the fact that the doctor's wrong about something. Oh, he's never. It's like no, he can be wrong about things. He can be mistaken about things. He can be corrected.
Yeah.
So that's
and he apologises and then says, "Okay, what's your pronouns?" And then the meep comes back with the definite pronoun, "I am the meep," and it's like you start to get. That was my first thought of, that was a bit.
Yeah.
I wonder what's going on here. So that was my first inkling that the meep was perhaps going to be an evil meep because I didn't know the comic story. You see.
Okay.
So that so it's been that, and it's been a lot of people saying, "Oh God, the mentioning pronouns on Doctor Who, I'm off," that kind of thing.
But here's once again though, the show has had a long, proud history of placing in sort of social commentary.
Yeah.
Alongside going right back to 60s Star Trek as well, or using the science fiction and fantasy elements to talk about things that are very much real and affect us all. And I often wonder when people get so upset over a certain something, are they watching the same show?
Yeah.
Because you have a character there who screams about tolerance and equality, etc., yet it's clearly that those messages are not being heard. Did they complain about an episode back in 1973 about the Green Death? Oh, it's all bloody lefty stuff, talking about hippies and making us all eat corn and all this sort of things. And ecology, what's all that about? No, they didn't.
No, it is a program about change, and it's a program about how the world develops over time, because it's all about time. And looking back at some of the first Doctor ones, there's a lot of comments about war, because in the 60s that
he's still in the shadow of World War II, absolutely, and the threat of it,
and there's a lot of sort of violence is terrible, and it sort of leads on to the Doctor being more and more of a pacifist, because at first he's not. He beats people up and things, and certainly Pertwee,
always in defence, though. Or only in defence, though. To be fair,
yeah,
but Venusian Aikido,
yeah.
But the point being is that whatever quote unquote messages or points or questions it wants to raise, it's always done that. It's always done that. Yet here we are in 2023. Yet we're still having to deal with kind of, I don't like that. Don't watch it then. Simple as.
And it made. I think it made some really just very small points about a transgender person. Firstly, not to dead name them. That's what the boys are doing on the bikes, coming past saying Jason this and Jason that.
Yeah.
And so that's the first thing. And the second thing is it's not always easy for parents and grandparents to deal with the situation.
That's really nice scene, I thought.
I have to deal with it with a little disclosure. I deal with that in my own personal life, and the way I not got around it or anything, but the way my approach was to be, and I suppose being an ex-youth worker as well, you do work with a lot of people from all sorts of walks of life, is to first and foremost respect their choices, and more importantly, I just use their name.
Yeah.
They have a name. It's simple as.
Yeah.
So if you have issues with he, she, they, them, why not just say their name? They've got one.
Yeah.
You have one.
I know, and I did think that
we have an.
It's the Doctor and the rest of them walking across.
Absolutely, there is. Either that was a Cyberman invasion has begun, but we are safe in our bunker.
It feels like a bunker to them.
It does.
But yeah, that scene with Donna's mother. And basically Donna trying to get a compliment out of her mother.
That was lovely.
Good luck with that, yeah.
But I loved all the bits of banter all the way through. I love the fact that Donna said to Tennant, "Oh, you after the age of 35, you can't wear that suit." And he was really picked on all the way through about him being older and not sexy and things like that.
Is it me? And I'm not one to body shame, but is it me, or does he look even slimmer than usual?
I don't know.
Or is it just the face is just in years?
It just could just be him getting older, but I don't think it's necessarily.
I mean, he does. He is one of these people that loses weight for a character, so maybe he did diet before then.
Maybe
it's certainly for he's done quite a few where he had to be thinner.
Because the last time we saw him, obviously in the 50th anniversary. And there were all these jokes, and you got the 11th Doctor calling him, "Oh my God, that's proper skinny. He's like a special effect." I actually thought he actually doesn't look that much. He doesn't look any different from Matt Smith.
That's
shape-wise. I'm thinking, you're one to talk, mate.
Oh God, he's
Matt's got the lankiness about him.
He's a lanky scarecrow type person. Yeah.
But this one in particular. But I mean, David and I are very similar in age. I've got a couple of years, I think, on him, and so it somewhat depresses me to see this chap running around
the new TARDIS. What do we think about the new TARDIS?
Wow.
Yeah, wow. I love it. I love it.
I've said this before. In the last week. It's the 80s with money.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, definitely.
It's the 80s with money.
Definitely.
I thought, wow, and it's clearly designed by a fan.
Yeah.
I loved David running around, and I loved the music as well.
Yes.
Music was just
having Murray Gold back.
Yeah, it was just fantastic.
I mean, I think Murray Gold did go off a bit when it was Matt Smith, because that bloody that drove me insane. I was ready to smash the television at some points when that bloody music came on. But the stuff he wrote for Tennant with the Time Lord music, and it's just beautiful. It is really lovely, and strangely, the first time I watched it, I didn't notice the music, and that's a sign of good music, because if it's intrusive, like
absolutely,
on the colorized Daleks that's just come out, that does get quite intrusive in parts.
It's a bit
music, whether it's in film and television, should complement the emotion. It shouldn't drive it.
No.
Okay, it should only complement the feelings that you are feeling as you're watching a particular scene, etc. But what it shouldn't say is, "This is happy now."
It shouldn't be manipulative or anything like that.
Etc. Because then, like I said, that isn't.
Yeah, so I didn't notice the first time out. So the second time out, I deliberately listened to the music, and it's just beautifully done. It's just laid in the background, so it just makes you, turns the mood up and down without very much. Fanfare, really. It's just there.
So, I mean, okay, we all enjoyed it or loved it, etc. It wasn't bad in any,
but what? Are we nitpicking?
Let's nitpick. The nitpicks. I mean, some of it's a good bit of nitpick. Some things were going through my head as it was happening and were resolved by the end of the episode. Like, for example, destroying London by fire and the streets all breaking. And I'm thinking, well, that's going to leave a mark then, isn't it? How are they going to do it?
But they fixed it. Yeah, I didn't like that. I
wanted it to leave a mark. I didn't like going back together again.
What I'm saying is that moving forward, it's because it's interesting because I try, and I mean, it's the same with other things. I don't like people being slaves to continuity.
Yeah.
Because creatively, it's constantly you paint yourself into a corner. It limits ideas, etc. But what's interesting is like so much has happened. Alien invasions, Dalek invasions, Cyber invasions, the ghosts, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But no one ever mentions it.
No.
No one ever mentions it, and then this little thing comes up.
Although when they said it's not an airplane, it's a spaceship. It was like, oh yeah, okay.
Well, I think that's why Donna's husband's not bothered. He's just like, I've seen these kind of things over the years.
Yeah.
Like when one of my favourite images, it was the ship, the Slovene fake ship hitting the Big Ben, all that sort of stuff. And then we're thinking, well, wouldn't that fundamentally change
religion?
Everything. Everything.
The whole
everything. I mean, a little side note. I mean, I know it has its distractors, but getting away from Doctor Who for a second, when they made the movie Man of Steel, I mean, they were writing it, they came up with the idea, well, what would it be like if somebody from the stars appeared and, said, hi, I'm from another planet, or whatever. That would just change everything.
Yeah.
But getting back to the episode itself, and nitpicking, etc. I mean, apart from... Okay, here's a nitpick for you. The word Disney at the end titles somebody pointed out to me, comes before the BBC.
Does it?
Ooh, that's a bit naughty.
It is a bit naughty.
I think so. That's definitely.
Unless BBC want the last word and said something like that.
That's very true. But when you see the big words in big letters with a big D,
I'd have to.
It's going to leave a mark, isn't it? You're going to be your eyes are drawn to that,
London.
not the BBC.
Like London.
It's not like a Steve McQueen, Paul Newman thing with famously for the Tower of Inferno. They couldn't decide. Well, they couldn't. They both wanted top billing.
Yeah.
So they came up with a poster idea where Steve McQueen's thing came first, but it was lower.
Lower, yeah.
And Newman's was higher. But your eyes are drawn to whichever one you saw first. But no, I wasn't too happy about that. But that's like, well, it's BBC. Because fundamentally, it is a BBC show, and we need to clean this one up as well. The deal is for the show to be screened on Disney Plus worldwide, not in the UK or Ireland, but worldwide. They will contribute some money, but it is not a Disney show.
No,
it's not a Disney. It's still
not.
paid for by licensed players, folks.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now, on to something else. The ending where Donna and Rose shake off the meta crisis in their brains. That was just a bit too much for me.
Mm-hmm.
Too easy for you?
Too easy. Yeah. They just. I would have. I wanted something more than that.
Would you have preferred it if they had left that problem throughout this mini series?
Yeah.
And left it to the last episode.
It's gone.
I think that's what some fans were expecting.
No pun. Who says it's gone though? That's the thing. I would kind of hope that Rose, there's a little something in Rose.
Yeah, but then she goes, "Oh, I feel like me now." It's like.
I mean, what they could have done is they put it into the TARDIS, and that's what changes the TARDIS.
Yeah,
something like that.
Possibly.
I think there was lots of missed opportunities.
I thought it was a little bit. They could have done with an extra 5 minutes somewhere, and it felt a bit rushed.
But the thing with Doctor Who is that it's always rushed at the end, and that's been the case since 2005. That it's rushed at the end, and it's the previous Doctor Who's. It went on forever, and you had cliffhangers, and the stories went over the weeks, and I do prefer that setup.
Yeah.
I do.
Except
like
episode
that.
5 tends to be the most redundant. In those original sort of shows, episode 5 tended to be the single most redundant episode because it was like this could have been resolved in episode 4, and
And the other one that I didn't get, and maybe it's because I'm not educated enough in the LGBT plus community, but the binary, non-binary bit. For me, she's presenting as a transgender woman and not a non-binary person. So why is she saying that she's non-binary?
Because she can be.
I know.
Because she can be.
I think
is it because
you can be non-binary and male, born male, and stay male, and still be non-binary, and vice versa.
Well,
yeah.
No, I know. I understand what non-binary is. But it just made me puzzle. Rather than going, oh yeah, I went, really?
Okay, but then you got the opportunity to ask those questions.
Yeah,
and that's the beauty of the whole thing.
I suppose
not
so,
knowing is it's fine. Not knowing and not caring is a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure about it, and I wasn't sure whether it was just Russell T Davies, who is obviously a cis male, writing about transgenderism, which can get you into trouble.
It can be. But he clearly shows empathy with the writing itself. It's weird because there'll be people who
I'm sure he's done.
There are people who know. There are people. It's been established in the last week who just balk at the idea of any sort of quote unquote agenda or any message that anyone wants to give, and will kick back at it or whatever, and just think, well, no. This is in the same way that when people make a political statement in a non-political setting, people say, "Oh no, you're a comedian, just tell your jokes." Yeah, it's that kind of thing, and it's like you're always gonna have to just keep marching through that as best you see.
I'm being devil's advocate a little bit because I think that you can write about a subject as long as you research it enough and perhaps talk to enough people. You can.
Of course you can.
But I know that a lot of trans people don't like that. Don't like people.
I absolutely.
It's my story.
Absolutely,
yes, of course.
Absolutely. I mean, Hollywood in particular has a history of telling stories about certain issues, but taken through the eyes of, like, let's say, for example, there might be something that's primarily aimed about the African American experience, but the story will be seen through the eyes of a white person.
Yeah.
And then
or you got the white savior type thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or,
exactly. The savior side of it as well was there a little bit with Donna, actually, in saving her daughter all the time.
But I think that can be looked at as a mother saving her daughter.
That's a parent and child, though.
It is, yeah. But at the same time, it made me think, just back off a little bit and have to deal with her own.
We've also got to remember that the Rose character is, 17?
I think she's meant to be 15.
15?
Yeah. Is she supposed to be 15?
I honestly, no disrespect to the actor playing them, but I honestly thought they were older.
Yeah, well, I
think they're about.
That's why it slightly threw me out about the timeline.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how old she was.
Couple of years in
Russell T Davies did say this. He did fudge up the years to make it work.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. Bethany is 20 years old.
Yeah, but it's like what they said with what Moffat said about the 11th Doctor's first story, because that started off in 2010. And then it
jumps to 2012.
Or at one point you see the Millennium Dome, and it's like 99, and it was all this, that, and the other, and blah blah blah. And he just said, "It's a time machine." Yeah. Boom. There's been
a lot of sort of criticism of Russell T Davies and previous showrunners of being, self-important and putting things in because they want them in. What do you think about that?
Well, number one, as writers, we all put in things that we want to put in because that's because they come out of our heads.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I have no real issue with that at all whatsoever. And a writer's thoughts, feelings, etc., no matter how much they try to disguise it in any shape or form, will always come through.
Yeah.
Will always come through. No, not really, no. I would say the best thing that he brought to this was the pace.
Yeah, the pace was
pace.
Fabulous.
This episode was on for 1 hour.
An hour, yeah.
And it was just flew by. Absolutely flew by.
I know.
Yeah.
It's funny because at the very beginning I thought, gosh, this is quite slow for Doctor Who. And then suddenly it's like hits you like a sledgehammer because it goes so fast. So and that's nice. I like a bit of slow build up and then wow.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
but then again, there's also time to have episodes that are the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The
slow down,
there, slow it down, or whatever.
Yeah.
Listen being a good example.
Yeah, I love Listen.
The other thing that we haven't mentioned is the unit boss in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Yes.
I loved her intro scene with Tennant just sitting there. He's usually doing stuff. He's running around. He's just sitting there.
He seemed very down, didn't he?
And she was 2 steps ahead. Definitely.
Yeah.
But and there was no kind of oh my God, it's a doctor. It was like, all right.
Yeah. The funny line on that was he says, "You've got weapons in your wheelchair," and she said, "Yes, we all have." So I was thinking, so in this timeline, or everybody in a wheelchair has is weaponized.
I spent a good 10 minutes of the episode wondering, where have I seen her before?
Yes, me
really,
too.
Really, really bugging me. And then like a cold bucket of water, it hit me right in the face. She, as a younger actress, and I'm talking late teens, was a regular on El Dorado.
Oh, God.
Oh, right.
It didn't ruin her career then.
No. I know that she did also appear. She appeared in the Years and Years.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, I hadn't seen her in anything else since. I'm sure she's had plenty of work. Good luck to her. But it really was like, I know you. Where do I know you from? Oh, God. Oh,
but then the question is she disabled? Because I don't know.
She is.
She is. Oh, right. Okay, that's good.
Yeah. She's a wheelchair user.
Yeah. Because, I mean...
She has a disability.
Over in Manchester, my friends at 53.2 every year make a Christmas video with disabled people on to talk about, representation in Christmas adverts, because they don't tend to show anybody with a disability. And so having a disabled person in Christmas Doctor Who will be fantastic if she's still there.
I mean, no doubt there'll be people who said derisory things about just having an actor that's like that.
Yeah.
Or, on screens. Oh, well, it's just ticking another box now, aren't they? It's that and the other. And to that, I just say, you know what? Do we want to go back to a time where 99.9 people you saw on the TV looked a certain way,
and spoke a certain way,
etc., or do we want to put a bit of I don't know, reality in there, And I don't mean reality telly, God though.
Yeah. But, I got quite a lot of criticism last week for saying for talking about. Thank goodness they were putting accents on Doctor Who. I got quite a lot of criticism for that. So,
but at least since 2005, there's been accents.
But looking back at, as I say, at the first Doctor, everybody's talking like this, and terribly posh, and you just think, oh gosh.
But that was the televisual world we lived in, where in particularly in this country, where the BBC had this, or not just BBC, but all channels. All three of them had this notion of people that only spoke with southeast middle class, receive pronunciation sort of voice. Good evening. This is the news.
Queen's English.
That's exactly speaking. And with the very few exceptions, and even those were maybe the odd show like Coronation Street, but these weren't the norms. These were the anomalies, or Steptoe and Son.
I was going to say Steptoe and Sons, like the odd character.
Crossroads with the odd hoodies.
Yeah.
But they, like I said, they were few and far between. The norm, and that went all across all shows, was this kind of like, and then the Doctor would land on a planet and everyone would be speaking like this.
It's funny because I was watching it and it kept surprising me that people were speaking with this harmony. I was thinking, surely they can put a different accent on for somebody, who's and the only other accent was Scottish. It's like Scottish or RP.
I think a really good example of that will be a third Doctor story called The Carnival of Monsters, where the Doctor and Joe get caught in this kind of like sloopy thing.
I've seen that one,
And they go from like a ship that's in the Indian Ocean in like 1920 with a British ship as well. Everyone speaks like this. They go to another planet where everyone's grey and all these, and everyone speaks like this. The entire cast speaks with the poshest of posh accents. It really is,
Yeah.
But like I said, I mean, that was then. But
this
now
is
is
now.
now. This is now, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is now.
It's only going to keep changing. That's the thing. If you can't get used to it now, it's just going to keep changing in the future.
We need another story set in Tyneside, I think.
Yeah, that would be nice. I mean, I did like the fact that although I did. I do have a little holiday place on Barry Island because I was wanting to watch all the the scenes being shot. So I thought I'd go down there, stay in my holiday place, and go out and look, watch all the scenes being shot. And of course, as soon as I got it, they moved it. Sod's law.
Absolutely.
But it was actually nice that he went up to Sheffield and it's been to Liverpool.
Yeah.
And it sort of visited quite.
Didn't use an awful lot of I mean, even though there was quite a lot shot here, it didn't really use it in a sense of it wasn't particularly like Scouse heavy or anything like that.
No, it wasn't.
Which I thought was a bit disappointing.
Disappointing, but at least it's sort of showing that Britain isn't just London, which is quite nice.
Yeah. I mean, particularly the 80s where the whole of Britain was Tunbridge Wells.
Yeah.
With some really good stories like the Awakening. That's a good one. It's a Fifth Doctor story, and it is like the most southeast English village ever. They're good. But getting back to the actual episode in question, I liked it.
I have a question. So
go for it.
Obviously, we're all Doctor Who fans, so this one will be a bit difficult to answer. But obviously, it's got a launch on Disney Plus, trying to get new viewers.
Yeah.
Do we think this is a great launching off point for new viewers?
For new viewers, probably not, to be honest.
Probably not. No, I don't think so.
Because I thought it was very, very continuity heavy.
Yes.
There's a lot of backstory to deal with there. Would it encourage people to watch other episodes? I don't know. I don't know.
I think when Shooty comes at Christmas, I think
Shooty is every new Doctor should be treated as like a complete pilot episode.
But I just hope these three specials. If I'm living in America, right, I watch this thing I've heard about on Disney Plus. I don't know what's going on, and it puts you off.
Exactly.
So I hope when Shooty comes on,
I think Shooty is the start. But right now, let's just enjoy the anniversary.
Yeah.
And we can. It's a good way to shout about the fact that the show still exists.
Yes.
And hi America or whoever it is, the rest of the world, Disney fans out there. We can compete with every other franchise that's out there, etc. I'm sure there's a load of fan fiction already where the Doctor's gone over to the Marvel universe and all that sort of stuff. But please don't do that.
Oh yeah, he has.
Indeed. But
the big question now is how will David Tennant become Shooty? Because there's been rumours that the two of them are in an episode.
Yeah, I've read things and I'm not sure what to think, but I'll just wait until that happens.
Kind of actively avoided.
Yeah,
if anything, and it isn't so much not so much like any news, I think, but speculation or the two words that make my blood turn to ice, and that's fan theory.
I like fan theory. I love it. I absolutely love it.
They should have this. They should have that. Right. They should have this. Right. And then the third Doctor comes back. Right. Now hold on a minute. Hear me out. This is what I'll tell you what's going to happen. Third Doctor, right? And then he meets the fourth Doctor, and then he borrows his scarf, right. And if it doesn't happen, I'm never going to watch the show over again.
I don't know. I'm not. Not that I'm not going to watch the show over again, but I just like a bit of speculation and to see if I can guess. And quite often I don't. Unfortunately, my son, smart ass, he quite often guesses what's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah. But this actual one, he said at the end, I didn't guess the twist. I didn't guess that Donna and Rose both had the meta crisis.
Of course.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he didn't guess that. And for him not to guess it, it's pretty smart, right?
I think you're so concentrating on the Meep and that twist that you're not expecting another twist.
Yeah. So I do like to think about it, and the fact that they've said that David Tennant and Shooty is in an episode, then you start to wonder what's gonna.
Well, they're gonna both be in an episode because he's gonna.
Yeah, I mean they might have just shared the set. It doesn't mean
I wouldn't be surprised if there are bigger surprises that nobody in a million years has thought of.
I know, and
in the same way that I'm
great. It's right at the moment. I'm just rattling my Christmas presents.
Yeah.
To try and figure out what's
I was happy to just open them on Christmas Day.
No, I rattle mine. Sniff them.
Oh my days! You were snooping around the house, didn't you?
Yeah.
This is why we can't have nice things, folks. But no, I mean, I'm going back to the 10th anniversary. Nobody saw.
I felt your presence. Sorry.
So nobody saw in the 10th anniversary. The 50th anniversary. Like an appearance by Peter Capaldi. Nobody saw that coming.
Or Tom Baker.
Tom Baker. Well, no,
I think people speculate Tom Baker. I think I did.
Yeah. But, I don't think Tom will ever be coming back because he's looking really feeble now.
Yeah. 89 is he?
He's 80.
I think.
Is he?
Yeah. I don't think he'll be back. That's a real shame, and I still love his voice. Yeah,
but
although, he's still too posh.
Have you ever heard him do his Scouse?
No.
No. I saw him on an interview where he was doing. He does like a Scouse voice. He's like the voice he grew up with or whatever. But like I said, that was he just grew up in an era where you weren't supposed to talk like that if you wanted to get on in this business. So you have to boom, 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 boom.
So, anything else to finish off?
Well, I think let's go down the speculation route then. So Donna, in her infinite lack of wisdom, cup of coffee, all over the brand new TARDIS. She was in the TARDIS for what, 2 minutes?
Yeah. I mean, as soon as he said he had a coffee machine, I knew that she was going to spill coffee.
I don't get why. They're going to visit Wilf. That was the plan, right?
Yeah.
Why don't they take the rest of the family with them? I know for story purposes why, but in terms of...
he wouldn't want them in.
He just wouldn't want them in?
No, messing up my new TARDIS.
I would like a non-sort of monster sort of issue for the next one.
Really?
And have it a little bit more kind of like...
a dilemma.
Yeah.
They've kept this one very mysterious.
Yeah. This is the one we know absolutely
nothing about.
I know nothing about what happens. We know where the third one goes because they let that cat out of the bag already. But... no, I have absolutely no idea, and I would like something a bit more creepy.
I don't know where the third one goes because I have deliberately tried to stop hearing spoilers. Although I did hear the shitty one. It's the big one. It's the big one. It's one fans have been screaming about for decades. So they're saving it till the last. Okay,
absolutely. But and like I said, it nearly happened in 1986 when season 23, the original series 23. Which had been Colin Baker's second season. It would have been the first story of that era, but the show got put on hiatus for 18 months. Yeah. And it was called The Nightmare Fair. And and the original actor was coming back. Contract was signed. He was coming back, but unfortunately he's passed on in the years since. But
I think they've made a great choice.
They made a very good choice for that. He seems to be a lot more animated than he was last time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And but in fact, I always thought that actor would make a great Doctor. By the way, the original actor. Yeah, I'm not gonna say
right, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to try and keep myself completely.
I find spoilers are easy to avoid.
Cardboard box.
By A, staying off the internet, and B, don't talk about things. Just simple as that. And if people say something, it's quietly. Occasionally, though, you do get people. When this first Doctor came back. That was spoiled for me. I was out that evening. I even bumped into somebody and said, "Don't tell me anything about it. I'm going to miss it. I'll watch it when I get home tonight." Blah 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 blah. I got a message about 2 hours later saying, "Oh my God, wasn't expecting the first Doctor to turn up," and that was a message. I was like, "Mate, the actual person I told, don't say anything to me, told me." But hey, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, folks? So gagging orders all round.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that I don't miss any, so that I've got the spoiler problem.
Well, yeah, I have to rush home. I'm actually performing, and I hopefully will be home in time for the episode, but I probably won't be. I'll be home probably around about 8 o'clock.
I'm going to be there for the next one, but it's the one after. It's going to be touch and go. And
no.
Yeah, I think I might even be out because it's a family occasion.
Oh, no.
Forget Ben.
I know. I might have to have it on my phone.
On your phone,
Don't you dare.
On my phone while I'm
there. It can be avoidable. To be fair, Christmas Day episodes, I'd say I've only watched about 3 of them.
On the air.
When they've aired. I've had to usually wait.
That's hard. It's hard
because you've got so many people in your house that talk all the way through it, especially my mum. Sorry, Mum.
Yeah, it's hard. It can be hard around Christmas.
Yeah, Mum.
Yeah, but she does.
Button it.
She's not very keen on sci-fi, my mum, so she'll just talk away. She'll go, "Oh, this is silly," all the time.
Which one is Tom Baker?
No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't do things like that. But it's just this incredulity at sci-fi because she just doesn't get sci-fi.
I think that's
my mother to this day still calls Patrick Troughton Patrick Tregowan. Okay. And then that bombshell.
I think we will finish off there. So, goodbye to everybody, and thanks to Luke Morgan for coming in today as our guest.
Thank you for having me.
And next week we're not sure who we're going to get, but it should be good.
It should be good. It should be good, folks.
Be good.
On AnyWho.
AnyWho.